What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Bork Report here on Saturday, April 26th, 2025. As always, I am your host, Bork, and today, don't have a ton to talk about. Want to talk about some Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. Want to talk about the pre-order situation, how I fared, how I think it should go, how it's a ridiculous mess. But also, as you can see on the screen, I am going to be playing some Let's Go Pikachu while I talk about it. Just want to kind of do something while I'm talking, so it's not just you looking at me. So we're going to be shiny hunting a Pidgey today. I have a chain already going. It's like 100 deep, 150 deep or something like that. So at the max odds for shiny Pidgey. And with that being said, a couple housekeeping things. Still trying to get content for the TikTok. I don't really have a big series right now like I have with the favorite and least favorite Pokemon, but today or tomorrow I'm going to go through a couple of my old recordings and take a couple clips and post them there. So at GameBork, as always, is where you can follow me there. And with the Let's Go Pikachu on the screen here, I guess I can kind of share that next project that I'm working on. Right now, really the only videos I've posted on my YouTube are the Bork Report episodes, whether it's reacting to a direct or just one of my weekly Yap sessions. So my next thing that I want to jump into is kind of edited video content. And with that being said, my first project will be, and this is an exclusive to those who listen here, catching as many or all of the shiny Pokemon in Let's Go Pikachu. If I get a lot of steam with this and want to keep going with it, I might have to purchase Let's Go Eevee to get the exclusives. As well, I've caught all the legendaries in this game already, so if I want to shiny hunt Mewtwo, or I want to shiny hunt, if I want to shiny hunt the birds, you know, I could do that technically in Pikachu, but I am not about to undertake that. That is a crazy feat. So there you go. That's kind of my next thing. I'm going to get going on the shiny hunting here and go into Viridian Forest and continue my streak here. So really just got to be vigilant of the screen, see where those Pidgey spawn. And for what it's worth, I have I've caught a shiny Bulbasaur while looking for Pidgey here. So, oh my god. Okay. Good start. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I was shiny hunting Pidgey the other day, and I stumbled across a shiny Bulbasaur, which is the rare spawn in Viridian Forest. So that is shiny number 1, even though I was not hunting it. And I need to make sure I pop a lure here so I can get that. But basically, as I mentioned, just want to kind of talk about, there I am, 101 deep. I just want to talk about the Switch 2 and pre-orders and how that whole mess went. Basically, if you guys weren't trying to pre-order a Switch at the Switch, pre-order time, then you probably slept well. You probably had no stress. You probably had a really great time because you didn't have to worry about it. Me, however, I'm a sicko. I'm obviously wanting to get a Switch 2 on day one. I stayed up, endured the awfulness of pre-orders, and here's kind of how it went for those that maybe weren't as tapped into the pre-order situation. So on what was it, the 24th, so a couple days ago, or I guess the 23rd technically, is when pre-orders went live for me in Central Time, because it was at midnight Eastern on the 24th. So Walmart, Target, and Best Buy go live at midnight Eastern, and then GameStop is like, no, we're going to go live the next morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, or it was noon Eastern, so it was like 10 a.m. my time. I don't exactly remember, but I was online when it was supposed to go live, is essentially what I'm trying to get at there. So I get online on Wednesday evening to try and secure one through Walmart, Best Buy, or Target. My target that I wanted to get was Best Buy, because Best Buy is doing a midnight release where you can go pick the console up at a store at midnight. And I did that for the Switch 1. I've talked about that in another episode. But basically, with that being said, Best Buy was the worst of the three, in my opinion. I think that most people had success with Walmart or Target, myself included. I actually got in pretty quickly at Target, was able to put one in my cart with relative ease, The only real issue I had in Target's line was as I was trying to check out, it kept saying error, and I had to click the proceed to checkout button about 10 to 20 times, I would say, and it kept giving me errors. And eventually the process went through, the transaction got it, and I got the confirmation email probably about 10 minutes after that point. So I was locked in at Target, and I got the console as well as the physical edition of Mario Kart World, and I also bought a Pro Controller through Target. So, like I said, I want GameStop. GameStop, at this point in the night, has not even opened up their pre-orders. Everything is wrong. The site's burning. Nobody can get into GameStop, and it just says not available. So, I'm messaging with some friends who are also trying to pre-order. We're trying to help each other out, tell each other where things are going. One of my other friends gets Target in his cart. He gets the same stuff in his cart that he wants, and he's getting the same issue of proceed to checkout, getting a bunch of error messages, not going through. It took him probably 20 to 30 minutes of clicking the finalize checkout button with the error messages before it finally went through for him, and he did get his confirmation email. Now, I have heard from a lot of people that Target has canceled their pre-orders shortly after they were completed. That did not happen to my friend or myself. They were able to get theirs. I was able to get mine. So far, we are 3 days removed and no cancellation emails. So I think we are in the clear. Ours should be coming from Target with no issues. Now, my other friend is in the same boat as me. He wants to buy it from Best Buy, so he kind of stakes his whole entire being on getting it from Best Buy. He is kind of waiting, and obviously, like I said, Best Buy did not go live at midnight. It actually took him about 28 to 30 minutes. It was somewhere around 11:28 p.m. Central or 12:28 a.m. is kind of when those went live. Now, I haven't even talked about Walmart. Walmart actually was pretty good, kind of. I got put into a line on Walmart's website, which is fine. I'm okay with that. That's not an issue at all for me. I think that's the way to do it, is have a queue and a line, and when you get through the queue, you can check out. And if you were there first, you should be able to get it. And if it's a bot, hopefully they're getting pushed to the back. I don't exactly know how they can do that, but with Walmart, I got put in the line, and I in the meantime had put Mario Kart into my cart. I put something else into my cart. Now, the thing that Target really kind of makes me weary with is that Target says it's going to ship between the 6th and the 11th. So the Switch comes out on the 5th, which means I wouldn't get it the day it launches, and I might not even get it till the week after. So I'm happy I secured one. I am not getting rid of my Target order no matter what. Even if I get another one somewhere else, Target is staying in my system. Sorry, just looking at some of these Pokemon here. There we go. Okay. So Walmart, I'm in line. I would like to buy from Walmart over Target if it comes to that, because like I said, Walmart has promised that people are going to get their consoles before 9 a.m. on launch day. I don't know how true that's going to be. I think they've already backtracked on that based on demand, but they said that. So I was like, okay, cool. That would be a good second place to find it. Now, my friend who's waiting for Best Buy is kind of getting strung through the ringer here because Best Buy is not opening up theirs, and my friend and I already have ours through Target. My friend that got his through Target is kind of just like in the backseat, not really paying attention to the chat anymore because he's got his. Why does he need to worry? I look on Twitter, I see Wario64 tweets that the queue at Walmart is non-existent. People are getting in, buying a Switch, and having it go through successfully with no issues, no waiting, no queue. So that's really great. I text that to my friend. He goes into Walmart, gets through the queue, no issues. At this point, since I had mine through Target, I backed off of Walmart's line. I actually exited the queue. And then Best Buy finally goes live at like 12:28. I click into that, and I get put into a queue immediately. Again, I'm fine with queues. No issues there. That's not the problem. But Best Buy's website just does not seem to be working really well at all, and I just don't know how the queue is going to go. So I am waiting on Best Buy. It's probably at this point, they went live at 11. It's probably midnight to 12:30 for me Central Time, and out of nowhere, I get kicked out of the queue on Best Buy's website. So I'm waiting for it. And then it refreshes the page. I'm like, oh shit, is this the moment? Is this the moment I've been waiting for? And lo and behold, I look at my cart. It's empty. Nothing indicating at all that I was ever in a queue. It just gave up. So I get back in the queue. I'm like, okay, I'll wait one more time. It took about 20 to 30 minutes for me to get the refresh. 20 to 30 minutes later, still waiting in the queue. So I'm looking online and I'm seeing people still getting through at Best Buy. I'm seeing people get through at Target and Walmart. So I decide, oh, let me go try and buy it from Target or Walmart again. See if I can get a second one. Nope. I get to the checkout. Target at this point says they have stock. I get it in my cart, go to checkout, does not work. So I can't get a second through Target. Walmart's doing the same thing where it's letting me put it into my cart, and when I get to the checkout, it is saying it is no longer available. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're very slowly restocking or putting more into the system and kind of going from there. I don't think that's the case, but at this point, I'm just like, whatever. It's about 1 a.m. my time. It's crazy late. I am sleepy. I have work the next day. So I decide it's about 1:30. I decide let's call it a night. I'm going to try for GameStop in the morning online and see how that goes, because I think GameStop has a potential to be better. I was way wrong. At 10 a.m. my time, when the pre-orders go live, I boot up GameStop's website. I have all my stuff ready to go. I'm logged in. Nothing's working. They are getting a bad gateway error message on their website. So GameStop just completely goes up in flames. Their website is fully not working. So my last resort, and what worked out the best, and I'm very glad I did this, is about an hour before my GameStop opens near me, which is noon. So about 11 a.m., I drive over there and I get in line to order a physical copy at the location. Now, for what it's worth, every GameStop location, it seems like, got a pretty good amount of Switches in. My GameStop got 35 total, 25 of the Mario Kart bundle and 10 of the non-bundles. So I was about 19th or 20th in line. I get my Switch 2 pre-ordered successfully. I'm standing in line with a bunch of other people. It's a good time. I'm not really chatting, but there's vibes, you know? At those events, there's vibes. So everyone's kind of on the same team. We're like, none of us want to be waiting here, but we want the Switch 2 more than life itself. We're ready to roll. And that worked really well. And it sounds like, from what I'm hearing online, that was the way to do it with a console launch. GameStop was really great across the whole board on the in-person pre-orders. Mine, I was in and out after they opened at noon. They took a while to get through the line, but it took me about 20 to 30 minutes more of waiting. And I had my Switch 2 pre-ordered and ready to roll. So I'm pretty happy with that experience overall. The only pleasant experience I had with the pre-order process, and I guess I'll say Target wasn't overall horrible for me, but there was definitely not the ease of access that I would have liked. So with that being said, I have 2 Switch 2s on the docket here. One will be for myself, one will be for my significant other here in the apartment. We will both have our own, with our own copy of Mario Kart, and we are looking forward to that very much. And with that being said, pre-orders just generally need to become an easier thing to do. I don't understand how the system is so broken that every website crashes. They know that they're going to get millions of people coming in, and they still don't prep for the server capacities. And at the end of the day, like, it's not even on Nintendo. Like, Nintendo provides the retailers with the stock, and it's on the retailers to sell that stock. And from Nintendo's eyes, I'm sure they're not happy with the pre-order process and how everything went up in flames, but at the same time, they've got to just be sitting back and giggling in their seats because they sold out of all their Switch 2 pre-orders, and they're going to have the biggest console launch of all time. So I can't imagine that they're too upset overall. And overall, nothing's going to change because of Nintendo. Like, it's going to have to be on the retailers themselves to figure out this system, which I don't think they ever will. it's just a nightmare. It's just horrible, and no one wants to go through with it, but it's just something that everyone has to deal with. So at the end of the day, I know most people that really wanted a Switch 2 got what they wanted. It took forever, and it took a lot of stress, but at the end of the day, I don't think I've heard many people say that they were not able to get one. Mostly because if they weren't able to get one online, they did have that backup of going to GameStop and ordering it in person, which seemed to have been the best way to do it. And for anyone that camped out and that I was maybe laughing at, I'm sorry. But I am going to laugh at you a little bit because I showed up an hour before the store opened and I still got one. So if you camped out for 24 plus hours to get a Switch 2 at a GameStop, good for you. Glad you have the time to do so, but you didn't need to because I showed up an hour early and still got one. But with that being said, as my GameStop had 35 total, I think that the line by the time the store opened was over 35 people. So I think that some of those folks in the back of the line were probably not able to pre-order one. I don't know what happens at that point, if they can put down as like an interest and they'll get emailed if more stock comes in or what. I don't really know, but it sounds like a lot of GameStops from what I saw online, a lot of them had over 100 in stock. Some of them had 50. It's just kind of varied store by store, probably by traffic and sales and things like that. So mine had 35. I got one. We're good to go. I also ordered a protective case, one of the Nintendo Switch protective cases. I really like the first party one for Nintendo from the Switch 1. I've got it right here. This one. It's not going to be the same for the Switch 2, but nonetheless, the first party one from Nintendo, that's worked really well. I bought that the year the Switch came out, and it's been excellent. So, and for what it's worth, we're 20 encounters in on these Pidgeys here, and I have not seen a shiny. And for what it's worth on the shiny hunt, just because you guys are getting kind of first dibs, how this works, and I'll explain this in a video. I think I'm going to do a series of me catching about 5 to 10 shinies and just kind of my reaction and kind of going through that. I'll do one master video where it's kind of a highly edited experience. And then I also am going to do, after I release my first one, I'm going to release a shiny hunting guide to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee for how to do the chain hunts, the best methods in order to do that, and kind of the way. Let's see. And then kind of the best ways that I found to optimize some easy hunts. I might throw those out there in case people are wanting to test. Like this Pidgey hunt is super easy. It's just time consuming. That's what shiny hunting is. It's just kind of waiting. It's like fishing, but slower. So with that being said, I don't think I've got much else as far as things to talk about from the pre-order side or anything else that I really want to discuss this week. That's the biggest thing that happened in gaming this week was the Switch 2 pre-order. Outside of that, I'm playing NCAA football with friends still. I'm, having a fun time doing that. I'm playing a little bit of Pokemon on the side. And then as I have some free time, I am also playing Pokemon Let's Go here and catching some Pidgey and hoping for a shine. We'll see, though. So with that being said, I'm going to jump off. I've said with that being said, okay, that's my tick, apparently. If you made it to the end of the show and you're kind of wondering, what I say instead of and and things like that, I say with that being said to segue almost every segment on this entire episode, and I just now realized it. So sorry that you had to hear me say that so many times, but I am going to jump off and we are going to hop off for this week and get back to next week. So I appreciate anyone that jumped on today, anyone that watched along, and if you had any issues pre-ordering a Nintendo Switch, let me know in the comments, and I will maybe in my next week's video provide a few tips and tricks for trying to snag a pre-order after the date, some apps that I use, some things that I use to track inventory and stock, and things along those lines. But this has been the Bork Report on Bork News Networks. As always, I am your host, Bork, and I will see you next week with another episode.